You know, if you're a professional these days, you've probably felt it, right? That little voice in your head, that pressure telling you that you should be some kind of social media guru, that maybe you're missing out if you're not posting every single day. Well, today, we're going to dive into the story of one professional who went all in to try and crack that code. And what she found out, well, it's a lesson for the rest of us.
And that really gets to the heart of the matter. What's the goal here? Are you chasing viral fame, trying to become an influencer, or are you trying to build an actual sustainable business? Because as we're about to see, those two things, they are often not the same thing at all.
Okay, so let's set the scene. It's January 2024. We've got a real estate agent who's feeling a little behind the curve. She decides, you know what? No more wondering. I'm going all in on social media. She was absolutely determined to figure out if this was the secret sauce that could make her business explode. And listen, she didn't just dip a toe in the water. She went about this systematically. First up, an Instagram class to learn the nuts and bolts. You know, how to add the links, write the captions, all that basic stuff. Then, in February, came the daily posting. And by March, she'd even hired a professional writing coach to really level up her game. This was a serious, calculated plan. The change was pretty dramatic. She went from posting once in a blue moon to being a full-on daily content machine. She had this giant spreadsheet of topics and ideas, just meticulously planning her next move. As she put it herself, if you were following her back then, it probably looked a lot like a manic episode. So, this initial flurry of activity, it quickly sharpened into a very specific strategy. She thought, okay, forget the casual selfies. The plan was to create super polished, super professional, educational content. You know, the kind of stuff that just screams, I am an expert. And the amount of effort and money she put in here was just staggering. We were talking a professional videographer and an editor. Hair and makeup done for every shoot, carefully scripted talking points on these really serious topics like market data and economic trends. I mean, this was content engineered to be perfect.
So, after all that effort, all that money, all that time, what happened? Well, after 10 solid months of posting this polished, perfect content, pretty much nothing. No groundbreaking results. It was a massive, massive time sink for, let's be honest, very little in return.
Looking back on it now, she can kind of laugh about some of the missteps. She even mentioned a particularly memorable orange spray tan she got for one of the video shoots. As she says, what can I say? Mistakes were made. It's just a funny reminder of how far we can go trying to create that perfect online persona. So, just when it seemed like this whole high-effort strategy was a complete dead end, something totally unexpected happened. A single, completely unplanned post came along and changed her entire perspective on what actually works. It was December of 2024. She's at a remodel project and just pulls out her phone. She films a quick, casual video of her and her brother, who's a builder, just talking about a wall. No script, no makeup, no fancy videographer. She just posted it that night and didn't give it a second thought. The next morning, she woke up and was just blown away. That little off-the-cuff reel had 800,000 views overnight. And today, that very same post has over 3.1 million views. It was the exact kind of viral success she'd been chasing for a year, and it happened completely by accident. And this just shows you the disconnect, doesn't it? Her audience didn't really care about her polished analysis of economic events. They were fascinated by the raw, authentic stuff, the process of a remodel, stripping old wallpaper, finding a hidden chimney, fixing old pocket doors. It was real, it was tangible, and people found it way more interesting. So she did it. She finally went viral. This must have been it, right? The big business breakthrough she was working towards? Well, this is where the story takes a really important turn. Because, as it turns out, going viral and building a business can be two very, very different things. So with all these new followers pouring in, she decided to dig a little deeper. Who exactly were these millions of people watching her videos? Were they the potential clients she was hoping to attract in her local market? The answer was a huge nope. Her new audience was eclectic. A big chunk were DIY remodelers, which, okay, that makes sense. But the vast majority? Cat-loving Australians. Seriously, this explained the massive growth, but potential clients for her business based in Austin, Texas? A tiny, tiny fraction. And this quote just sums up the whole revelation perfectly. Gaining a huge following of people who love cats and live on the opposite side of the planet was completely useless for her actual business goals. The viral fame was, from a business perspective, worthless.
So here's the absolute crucial point to all this. The skills you need to make a viral video are completely different from the skills you need to be a competent professional advisor. And as consumers, we have to realize that just because someone is doing a silly dance in a multi-million-dollar mansion, that doesn't necessarily make them the right person to handle one of the biggest financial decisions of your life.
Okay, so what's the big takeaway from this whole wild ride? Well, it all led to a much healthier, much more practical way of thinking for professionals who, have real businesses to run and have zero desire to become full-time influencers.
The new approach is all about finding the highest and best use for these platforms. It's not about chasing likes or going viral. It's about using social media as a simple tool to support the business you actually have, without letting it completely take over your life.
And this new strategy is so refreshingly simple. First, just get your message out there. Share what you know. Second, show people who you are. Let your personality shine through. Third, just use it to stay top of mind with your network. And finally, and this is the most important one, just be genuine. Because really, in the end, that's what matters. Chasing trends is exhausting, and as we've seen, it's often a total waste of time. But if you're authentic, people connect with that. They'll remember you, and more importantly, they'll see the real value you bring to the table.
So that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Take a good look at your own social media efforts and ask yourself this one simple but really powerful question. Is what you're doing just attracting an audience, or is it actually building your business? The answer might just change everything.